Hey everyone, in today's video, we're diving into the reds that I keep on my palette, why I chose them, how they mix, and what makes them unique. Whether you're after warm, rich skin tones or vibrant accents, these reds do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So let's get into it. So I wanted to go through the reds that I use on my portrait palette, including one that I'm just starting to get back into using lately is alizarin crimson. It was off my palette for a while. I decided to give it a shot this last week. The palette I think should always be constantly in a state of flux. Sometimes I have colors on there that I don't use and I just stop putting them on the palette and so they kind of disappear a little bit. Sometimes I'm like, I see an artist use a certain color a certain way and I get intrigued and want to try it out. So I thought I would add this in with my basics here. And so my usual palette is Permanent Bright Red from Visari, Brilliant Pink from Michael Harding, Ruby Red from Visari, and I'm adding in alizarin crimson. And this range of reds gives us a nice warm red and 3 cool reds that have a different sense of transparency. Like the alizarin crimson is more transparent than any of these others. And that's kind of why I'm using it lately, is because if you've been on my YouTube channel for a while, you've noticed that I've been using a lot of transparency within my block-in layers. So I thought using an alizarin crimson might be something that would be kind of fun to bring back into my practice. Let's do a mass tone of Permanent Bright Red. So I can see it's a little transparent. And this also gives me a good sense of midtones. These colors straight out of the tube really aren't super bright in value. It'll be interesting to see the tinting strength of all 3. And this is kind of like a cad red light, but slightly deeper in tone. What I mean deeper, it's just a little bit less towards an orange, but still is pretty warm. So that's our mass tone for Permanent Bright Red. So Michael Harding's Brilliant Pink. Let's see the mass tone here and how it reacts. Very thick, great texture, great covering strength. Already I can tell. Very opaque. This is one of my favorite chromatic reds. It's great for putting cool parts of red in with warm reds. Like in the cheek, in lips. It's such a great color. It's just so thick and opaque. It gives us a sense of the mass tone. And we can already see the value shifts, how this value is lighter than this. Now we have our Ruby Red from Visari. Also a little bit transparent now, I can tell. And just a deeper value on this color. You can see how it moves more towards a blue already. And our alizarin crimson, which is kind of escaping on us. Great coverage strength, but you can see through that mass tone to the transparency, but this covers so well. It'll be interesting to see what it looks like with titanium white. This really gets that mass tone right away. Great coverage, very transparent. So to compare all 3, they're such different animals, right? For red, there's a wide variety here. So let's see what it looks like when we cut it with white. To see the tinting strength. Let's try to get a mid-tone value here. Looks pretty good. Good tinting. The pretty strong chroma in there. And let's see what it looks like with a little bit more white. how light of the value we can get. Great coverage there. Get a nice mass tone with the white. So we get distinct value shifts. Okay, let's do, it's funny, this value and this value are similar. So we don't need to add a lot of white to get a similar value because we're already almost there. And understanding the value of color. Now what I mean by value is the actual, what the light and dark is, the value that way. The of color is really interesting. Because if you you can have an area that has have two different colors but are the same value. If you were to make a black and white version of like a photo reference, for instance, and you can have multiple areas that might have a blue and a pink next to each other that are the same value, that you might lose because they're the same value, just different hues. Let's get a little lighter. See how the tinting strength on the brilliant pink is very strong. We don't need a lot of it to get the value up here, but you can see the cool undertones. You know what I mean by cool versus warm reds? It's simplistically on a color wheel. You have this reds, these three kind of move more towards a blue, which means they're kind of pink purple, versus this guy, which moves more towards an orange and a yellow. So thinking just again that blue is a cool color in general, holistically, and let's say yellow is a hot color, warm color. And we can see how this would be, the subtle shifts in this are great for skin tones, to just subtly move a mixture towards a blue or a mixture towards a yellow, orange. So let's see what the ruby red, how that acts here in a mid-tone. Again, tinting strength is really strong. A little bit more white. Has a very poppy fuchsia vibe to it. Let's add in some more white. Let's do a lighter value of that. Again, not a lot to change its tinting strength here. And we can see that the undertones are just a little bit more pink than the brilliant pink here. But these are similar in color. This one moves a little bit more towards a blue, so slightly more purple than our brilliant pink. So I'm cleaning my brush out with the wet wipe here. We're going to use the alizarin crimson now. Again, tinting strength really intense. It just took over that entire mixture. It's holding on to its transparency as well. And it moves a little bit even more towards blue here. Let's do a very light. We don't need a lot. Just a little more here. The alizarin crimson looks pretty good. It's a little bit, again, even more so, more transparent. I think the gray of the palette is affecting it a little bit. But as we can see, this gets more blue. So we have our hottest. As you start to cool down even more, really cool. So it's Really interesting that we arrange these luckily in a way that we can see where within the skin tones, if I want to make something darker and cooler, I go towards the alizarin crimson or the ruby red. Now midtones, lights, and I want it to be towards a pink, a blue pink, a cool red. I would go towards the brilliant because this has a little bit more clarity with the white. This gets a little bit more transparent. And so if I want to have a little bit more opacity and more tinting strength into my lights, I would probably use the brilliant pink. Now, if I want to warm up my skin tones slightly, but think of it more towards that orange yellow spectrum, I would go with my permanent bright red here. So there we go. This is great to do. I get to see the character and flavor of all these reds and where they're warm and where they're cool. Really interesting stuff. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button and leave a comment with your favorite red. I want to give a big thanks to all my Patreon supporters. You guys help to make these deep dives possible. If you want to join Patreon and get these videos a little earlier than everybody else and see some other stuff that I'm working on in the studio, there's a link below. I'm always learning and I hope you learn from these videos as well. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.